to Nonprofit Profiles. I'm Genevieve Riatort. So many of us take for granted the basic things in life: a safe place to live, having enough food to eat, and having a supportive community. For women who are living on the streets, those vital services are missing. But Daybreak, a program of OPCC, helps to provide those services for women in need. Today we're going to hear from a multitude of people working with Daybreak, starting with Colleen Ryan, who is a clinical consultant, and one of their clients, Martha. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
So Martha, you have been a recipient of the services at Daybreak. Can you tell us a little bit about how you found out about the program, where you were in your life when you came to Daybreak, just a little of your own personal history?
Sure. Actually, I became homeless after a separation from the father of my children. Lost my children in the process of that issue, and ended up on the streets due to that. Mentally incapable, and actually I tried to commit suicide. I ended up at a mental place and got help from Edelman, which is a mental institution, and that's how I heard from them.
So they referred
you?
They
referred me to OPCC in Santa Monica, right?
Wow.
Yes.
And where are you now, in contrast to where you were?
Well, it's been
then?
over a year since I ended up meeting OPCC members, and my shelter was my home. Actually, I just moved into my apartment 2 days ago.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Oh, that's
you.
wonderful.
Yes, so I owe a lot to OPCC. Yes, they were my family, my home, my providers, and my support. And Colleen here was one of the most help that I got, because I could go and tell her my problems, and she could hear everything I had to say, and they gave me step by step on how to get up on my feet again and be who I am now, which is a lot.
Thank you so much for being willing to share such a personal story with us.
No problem.
I know it can be hard to talk about sometimes, but I'm really excited for you that you are moving into your own place.
Thank you.
A wonderful thing. So Colleen, she said that you have worked together. Can you tell us a little bit of what the process is like to work with someone like Martha who comes in needing help?
Sure. My role is to meet with the women before they come into the transitional shelter and sort of evaluate their needs and how they might need our help the most in the shelter. And one of my favorite roles in the shelter is to do a group, which is we call it a transitional skills group, but it's a transitional skills / support group. And Martha was in the group with me, and I have the opportunity to work with the women and help.
So the women can interact with each other and help each other through some of the difficulties.
Yeah, support each other, and also there's a kind of a practical piece to it. We talk about living skills, and we work with them. We're working with them in their goal towards permanent housing.
And so, so women get not only a place to live, but also, mental health services, medical services. I'm sort of guessing here, so you can fill in the blanks.
Right. We work with Venice Family Clinic. We don't provide medical services, but Venice Family Clinic comes to us. And we also work with Edelman. Edelman comes to the shelter once a week. So we offer mental health support. We don't do treatment. We don't do psychiatric treatment there, but we do offer mental health support.
And I know I've seen some of the beautiful artwork that has come out of the ladies at Daybreak.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that program?
There's a client-run business. There's the WIND program, which is an acronym for Women in New Directions, and it's a day program. And they have a self-run business where the women create amazing art and beautiful objects.
Thank you.
I saw your face light up when we talked about this.
You know, it's amazing how you learn that you have so much inside you in that place. I never thought I was artistic. I never thought I could paint. I never thought I could make jewelry. I never thought I could do so many things that were hiding in me, you know, before I got there. And these amazing people have brought so much out of me that is just absolutely amazing. You know, I paint, I do quills, I do jewelry, and I never had it on me before. So it's like, I know it was there, but nobody told me that I could. So they not only help you come back to life again, they teach you things, they have classes, you can learn to be a better person, they can teach you to be your own boss, they help you to transition from the shelter out. I mean, they do everything, you know, and it's so much, you know, it's so much blessings. You just have to grab and grab and grab and grab and grab, and that's what I've been doing. I'm taking advantage of all the kindness because they're just there, you know, so all the time. And Colleen, she knows my story, and she's always been there for me. So I want to thank her for everything right in here, because you have done so much in my life. You changed me around, and I thank you.
Thank you. That's, I think, one of my favorite parts of this job is to work with the women, and you know, in the 4 years that I've been there, I have a pretty good understanding of resiliency and strength. And I mean, these women that we work with are so strong and have been through so much. And
So now that you have your own place, will you continue to interact with Daybreak?
Right, of
Are there
course.
ongoing services?
Yes, I want to be a volunteer. I already told them I'm coming to cook. I used to cook breakfast every day for the shelter, and I cook lunch and dinner whenever needed, and I love cooking. Cooking is my passion. So they're not getting rid of me. I'm going to be there. and actually, I think they want me to come back, right?
I think so.
So it's both ways. I mean, I need them, and I'm glad that I can do something for them. And there is so many people there that have touched my heart, and I can't leave them. I have to come back.
So you've made some pretty significant friendships
Yes.
in the shelter.
Oh yes, lots of them. I mean, I have lots of friendships out there already in their apartments, and I have tons of friendships still there that I'm sure are gonna be well taken care of, because I know that they will. And I want to keep in touch with them forever. You know, they're amazing women, wonderful women.
Wow.
So.
Well, it sounds like you're doing some really exciting work, and it must just be so rewarding for you to see someone go from the place where Martha started, coming in, you know, homeless, really needing help, in a desperate place, and to see her shine the way that she is shining now, lighting up and smiling, and having an opportunity to come back and to give back and give of yourself. I think it's just a beautiful thing, and I really want to thank you both for coming on the show, for telling us about your work, and for sharing your story with us. It really means a lot. I hope that other women will be inspired to seek help if they need it, and come out of it shining and beautiful the way that you have come out of your journey.
I hope so too. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Before we go to hear about how Daybreak got started from the founder, Darlene Lasher, we'd like to show a little video that is very quick but gives an idea of how Daybreak is affecting lives of women. Please stay with us.
What OPCC means to me is it means hope and family. It came into my life at a time when I was homeless on the streets of Santa Monica and did not know what to do or how to turn things around. And through OPCC and the shelter, they gave me a roof over my head, food to eat, and people to help me get back on my feet, to find a way to get an apartment. With the WIN program, just taught me how to budget and do things better, so hopefully I would not end up in the same situation again.
Welcome back to Nonprofit Profiles. I am absolutely honored to have with us OPCC board member and Daybreak founder, Darlene Lasher. Darlene, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I recently learned that you founded the OPCC Daybreak program, and I'm really curious to know what gave you the idea, how long ago did it start? Just tell me a little bit about the history.
Okay, I was working at OPCC in 1985 as an advocate. I'm also a licensed counselor, so I was doing some of that too. And several of us who were working there realized that women were not being served near as much as men, partly because most of the women on the street have mental health problems. And it was hard for them to stand in line if there was something happening. They avoided being with men. They couldn't get across town sometimes. Things were much more difficult for them than they were for men. So there were the four of us that said, we've got to do something for women. Men should probably have a place too, but women are much more vulnerable on the street. So we began to petition the city of Santa Monica and walked through the process of looking for every possible place to rent. And people didn't really want us very much. So the city made us a deal and said, you can't refuse this. And so we had 400 square feet in a building right next to the Lobster where the day center still is. Now, it was quite small.
Yeah, that sounds pretty small.
Right. But, you know, it was the best we could do at that time. So we went around looking at all the shelters, women's shelters in Southern California, putting together ideas of how to do this. And, you know, we began to move forward. We had the support of the city of Santa Monica and the rest of the agency. And so in 1987, we opened our doors at this place right in the big building next door to the Lobster on Ocean Avenue. And it was just great. It was wonderful.
So what kind of services did you provide initially?
Well, we provided food, clothing. Food was never, I mean, you can always get a meal there. I mean, there's no breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's just, you know, there. We closed the mid-afternoon, and so the women had to go back on the street. But it gave them a chance to wash their clothes. Actually, the staff washed their clothes. It gave them a possibility to wash their own clothes, to come in, sit down, and have a meal. We didn't want them taking food out and wandering around, so they sat down and had a meal. Whatever it was, they could take a nap. We had extra cots. And, you know, it worked. It was working. We actually had planned to do some outreach in the parks. Then we did go out there and found people who were not quite willing to come in with us yet. They didn't trust us yet. Well, why would they? It takes a long time to work with women who are potentially have had lots of trauma in their life, and we're trying to help them move to wherever they want to go. But you have to build up trust so that you can help them even. So that was part of what we were doing, was giving them food, clothing.
The basics.
Right, and also allowing them to have access to a phone and tokens to take buses to places for, for health. But that's always hard for people to do, you know, to get on a bus and move around and find out where they're going.
Sure, getting out of the comfort zone.
Right.
So how did Daybreak grow from that small 400 square foot, you know, sort of basic needs program to the beautiful facility that I've been to and have seen that it is today? Yeah.
Pretty lucky. Well, after 2 years of us working there, the federal government, and we'd made application, decided that we were really a model and that they would help finance us for a shelter. So that was the next step we did. And of course what happens is we worked with the women. We did some counseling to see who could move into a shelter. Not everybody can. You have to be able to cooperate with people, to take on some kinds of jobs. We don't have a lot of rules. But you do have to be able to live with other people. So the people who are ready to do that could move into the shelter. And that there was kind of that tradition. We opened a shelter in what was the Blue Bus stuff on the corner of 7th and Colorado.
Sure.
It's gone.
Yeah.
But we were there for, oh gosh, 15 years, I think. And we had done it so every woman had their own cubby, meaning a curtain and a place to sleep and
Some
live.
privacy.
Which was really essential for us to allow each woman, if they didn't want to come in and be communal, to go to their own place and be careful. And,
Yeah, have a little personal space.
right. And so I'm just talking and talking.
No, it's wonderful. We're
So,
glad to hear from you.
After that, we went along with that, and little by little, new programs came into the fore. I'm sure that Amy will tell you about some of these, but as we moved through this, the WIN program, which is Women in New Directions, which is a supportive program for women in housing and women in the shelter, and and as they said yet on the last show, you did, they said we're talking about how women could take classes and do various things.
So that's women who are currently part of the program, currently living in the shelter, and also women who maybe are alumni and living outside.
That's right.
So it's great, so they get to maintain those friendships and interact with each other.
And they can still see a counselor, and it's almost essential. You can't just take somebody and say, we found an apartment for you in Culver City, and say
off
goodbye.
you go.
They really need to have that consistent support. I mean, that's an essential thing for. So we went along, and then little by little, we began to realize that we needed much more than just what we had, and began a capital campaign.
So how many women about were you able to house in that, mid
About
vicinity?
50.
So about 50.
Yeah, not originally. We had maybe 24, 25 in the first place. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you knew you wanted to be able to do
We
more.
wanted to be able to add people. We wanted a nicer place, and the city didn't want us there anymore. I mean, basically, they were saying the bus wants to have the place back. So they helped us get this place, too. I mean, we have been quite supported by the city of Santa Monica. So we had a capital campaign and built this huge, wonderful building.
So that's the gorgeous facility that's now on the corner of Cloverfield in Michigan?
Right.
Yeah, that's a beautiful place. I've
Oh,
been
it's
in there. I've seen sort of the communal area, and then going back into the back where the women have their private cubbies.
Right.
It's really lovely. It's, everyone has their decorations and their photographs up and their stuffed animals.
It really is.
It's very homey.
All kinds of good programs go on there. And we have all kinds of volunteers who come in and help to cook and help to do things for various people. You're going to talk with one of them who's done wonderful jobs in the garden. But, it's a very special place and very dear to my heart. But
I bet.
it was... I worked there for about 6 or 7 years, and then I left, and then I came back because the woman who was the project director got pregnant, and then I finally left and I went on the board of directors, which allows me to still be involved with Daybreak, even though working on the floor, I worked at the day center mostly, was really, life enhancing. I mean, these women are marvelous. Lots of these women are not. They're mentally ill, but they're not stupid, and they're really smart women.
Well, and I can see just from having spoken with Marta, seeing the way that she lit up and got so excited about her experience and talking about her experience. It must be amazing for you to be able to see people go through that kind of transformation.
It is. I mean, when I was working at the day center, you really measure your successes in increments. Things just don't move like that. And, oh, yeah, okay.
It doesn't happen overnight.
So you have to build a trust, and obviously Martha got, some of that stuff. Now, she has a wonderful full-time person who is, Colleen is one of the mental health people there. And we didn't have quite so much of that in the early days. I mean, I have a license, but We used to counsel in the bathroom. That's how small the place was.
Well, it's amazing what you've done. As I said before, I'm so honored to have had a chance to talk to you and to give you the opportunity to share with all of us here and in Santa Monica the great, amazing work that you're doing. And congratulations on creating such a wonderful program that
No,
is
I didn't do it alone.
changing
I mean,
lives.
Most of the other 3 women left a long time ago.
Well, it's
So, but
certainly
they were there too.
a community effort,
Yeah,
and
really.
and we're glad to have you as part of the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to get to see another fantastic video of someone who has been a part of the program expressing their feelings about OPCC Daybreak. And when we come back after that, we'll get to hear a little bit more about the nuts and bolts and the everyday life at Daybreak with Amy Turk, the program director, and Joy Horowitz, another fabulous community volunteer. Please stay with us.
Well, OPCC is important to me because when I came here I was devastated, and they were so loving and welcomed me with open arms, and a couple of times I wanted to leave and they convinced me to stay, and it was the love that kept me, and I really appreciate having a safe place to be, 3 warm meals every day. The staff is just fantastic, and they're also lovely, and I love them too.
Welcome back to Nonprofit Profiles. Now we're going to hear a little bit more about how Daybreak actually operates. We're here with Amy Turk, Program Director, and Joy Horowitz, a community volunteer. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
So what an amazing program you have. Can you tell us a little bit about what's actually happening in Daybreak now? How many women are you serving? What's the day like at Daybreak?
Sure. Currently at Daybreak, we serve almost 500 women who are living with mental illness and who have either experienced homelessness in the past or currently are experiencing
Wow.
homelessness. So as mentioned in the show, we do this in a number of ways. We do this through our drop-in center at the Daybreak Day Center, which is next to the Santa Monica Pier, where women who are living on the streets can come in and start the process of meeting with our staff members to help them move forward.
So it's kind of an introduction
Right.
to the program. It's
Exactly.
getting their feet wet, so to
Exactly.
speak.
And then many other women have the opportunity to come to our services on Cloverfield Boulevard, where we shelter 30 at every single night.
Wow.
And we provide supportive day services through our Women in New Directions program throughout the day. And we also provide opportunities for women to participate in our business, Daybreak Designs. So in the 25 years that Daybreak has provided services to this unique population of individuals, we've served over 10,000
Wow.
women. And our main goal is to, help stabilize mental health concerns and to end homelessness.
Wow. So I know that you wouldn't be able to do the work that you do without a lot of community volunteer support.
Absolutely.
And Joy is one of those community volunteers. Can you tell me a little bit about how you found out about the program, how you came to volunteer?
Sure. 4 years ago, I was volunteering for the Barack Obama then presidential campaign. And one of the first things that he basically told us as after having won the election was the importance of all of us doing community service. And at the same time, I was volunteering at Santa Monica High School. My daughter was in the music program there, and we had put on a fundraiser for the orchestra at the high school, in which we had invited the LA Times columnist Steve Lopez to come. And
Okay.
so there was this great kind of melding of music and community service and music and homelessness, actually, and sort of making the community aware of that. So it all kind of came together. And so the Obama volunteers, we call ourselves Team Obama, wanted to work for OPCC. And so we started off small, and we were basically doing clothing drives and then food collection. And then we started serving meals, and it kind of snowballed. And the women at Daybreak were the volunteer coordinators, a woman named Renee Buchanan, who she spoke at the high school about her own experience, and she's so eloquent and wonderful, and sort of inspired us all. So we kept coming back, and we not only do meals there regularly, but we also started a cooking from the garden class for the women there, and we created the Michelle Obama Garden, and it's fantastic. You know, the women there, like Amy, and both the staff and the women who are the clients and residents there, are just a remarkable group of people. So it's really an honor to be involved in the community that way. We love it. You know, it's like, and also the Obama volunteers, it's a way for all of us to be together still. And it's just, it's fun.
So it's like you've really created a community and found a way to sustain it through this volunteer work.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love the idea of the community garden and cooking from the garden. I mean, it's so wonderful to think about, you know, fresh, healthy food that you help to grow, and then you get to take it from that phase into the kitchen and cooking it.
Exactly.
So do you actually teach cooking classes? Do you cook meals yourself? Is it a little bit of both?
I have a partner in crime, Leigh Spencer-Vanga, who was instrumental in doing a lot of the planting. She planted the lemon trees, and she's an amazing, amazing gardener. And so, but we try basically to just do healthy herbs and veggies in, in the meals that we do. And so, and the ladies love it, and we have a good time.
So, Amy, how helpful is it to have volunteers like Joy?
We couldn't do it without volunteers like Joy. Groups that come in and provide meals are essential to our community. They bring their expertise and their kindness, and we just break bread together, and it really helps make the individuals that we serve feel more welcome to the services and engaged.
There's something magical about breaking bread, isn't there? Yeah.
So without volunteers, we could not do this work whatsoever.
So if someone in the community wanted to get involved, wanted to be another Joy for you, how would they do that?
Sure. They can just contact us through our website, www.opcc.org.
OPCC.org, okay. And is that something that you really need, more volunteers?
We do. We really encourage groups to come together and provide meals. It's a really good way to get to know us and find how a volunteer skills can match our needs. We encourage people to do drives for items that we need, like toiletries, or maybe collect gifts for the holidays. We are
so that the women who are residents can have holiday gifts.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're a nonprofit, so we encourage people to give us money.
Sure, one of the many things that you need.
We also encourage people to participate in our one-day events, which are also listed on the website.
So if someone wanted to find out how to buy that beautiful jewelry and artwork, they could visit opcc.org and find out when those sales happen.
Yes. We have open house sales 4 times a year, and we're always welcoming the community to come in and purchase items that are handmade by our clients.
That's great. Very special and beautiful artwork, I would imagine, that comes out of there. And I've seen some of it, and it's gorgeous. So just to get a little bit more of an idea, I mean, we saw Martha tell her story, and we've seen a couple of other stories here. Can you tell me a little bit about how, from your perspective, watching people transform has affected your life and changed your life?
Absolutely. I came to Daybreak as a student in my undergrad studies. Cooked a meal, managed to cook a meal for a large group of women, and sat down with someone who just touched my life. She opened up her story, and I was floored.
Wow.
And that experience has happened over and over and over and over again.
I would imagine that it's the same for you, Joy.
Absolutely. Women are not only generous in terms of how they share their stories, but there's something so deep in the reciprocity for me. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I get way more out of it than they do eating my food. I can guarantee you that.
Well, it has been a pleasure and a joy having you on the show. I'm so pleased to hear about the great work that you're doing and to be able to share that with our audience. So thank you so much for coming on. And we're going to hear from one more OPCC Daybreak resident about how the program has meant something to her. And I thank you so much for being with us on Nonprofit Profiles today.
Okay, start.
Yes,
Okay.
go for it.
OPCC Daybreak has been very important in my life because it had helped me get up on my feet again. I was lost, mentally sick, and thinking that nothing mattered. And then I found this place which gave me a warm bed, roof over my head, food, and a lot of people to talk to when I had a problem with my situations. A lot of therapists here. You can tell them everything and they don't judge you. So I was able to speak up my heart and to heal through other people that work here, and also a lot of volunteers that came into my life touched me by being there. People, strangers that didn't know me, people that were here just to help without a paycheck. They gave me a lot of courage, a lot of hope and love. And I cannot tell you how important this place is for people to get well like me. I am so grateful that we have people that will be willing to help people like me to have a life. And I just want to thank everybody, every single person that touched my life here. Volunteers, people that came here to pay for tickets to help us, the whole staff, the founders, the donators, everybody. I want to thank them, and I want to ask them to please keep on doing this for others like me. Thank you.